All right, apparently there is an update. And here it is. After reading the comments and taking time to reflect, a lot of things started clicking into place. Before, my ex-best friend uninvited my husband from her engagement party, she had spent an entire day with me, my husband, and our baby. At the end of the day, my husband offered to drive her home. I stayed behind because it was my baby's bedtime and I fully trusted my husband. During the car ride, she repeatedly complimented my husband, not on his appearance, but on how he is a good, responsible, loyal husband and provider. She compared him to her fiance, saying my husband was everything hers wasn't, and even said she wished her fiance was more like my husband. At the time, my husband didn't read much into it. Trust me, most guys don't ever do. However, after she later uninvited him, I explained the situation to him. That moment immediately stood out to him as inappropriate in hindsight. Suddenly, the fact that my husband was the only spouse excluded makes more sense. What she framed as a family optics issue now feels more like discomfort, projection, and resentment on her part. In addition, after reflecting on our friendship as a whole, I started remembering things I had minimized or ignored over the years. After I gave birth, she made repeated comments about weight loss teas and dieting, despite me being very open about loving my postpartum body and never having body image issues, which you never should. She also expressed disgust and discomfort about me breastfeeding, which deeply bothered me at the time, but I brushed it off to avoid conflict. There were many similar remarks and behaviors that I excused as a joke or just her personality, but looking back, they point to a pattern of judgment rather than support, especially during a very vulnerable time in my life. At this point, I'm at peace with my decision. I stood by my marriage and my values, and I accepted that this friendship had unhealthy dynamics long before this situation brought them to the surface. All right, well, now looking back on it, it is sad knowing that like your friendship was always through almost like rose tinted glasses, because you always looked at your friend on how her personality was and you're like, oh, you know what, she's not that bad, that's just how she is. You're making excuse after excuse for her, and eventually you couldn't make any more excuses and you saw her true colors. I am happy for you that you did cut it off. You cut off the bad friendship and you're now living your life with less drama. Cheers.